What's going on, everyone? I believe it is recording. Yep, it's recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my review slash whatever type of video I always do for these for WrestleMania 35. And that's just crazy to say. I think I've been covering WrestleManias on YouTube since WrestleMania 32. So that's 1, 2, 3. This is my fourth WrestleMania I'm covering, and that's crazy. That being said, though, this was, before I get into the thick of it, by the way, this is going to be a long-ass video. You know how this goes. This was a good WrestleMania. I thoroughly enjoyed this WrestleMania. You know, a lot of the builds weren't great, but a lot of them were. They focused in on some things. There was definitely some of your usual WWE shitty booking and questionable decisions. You know, there was only one finicky finish. We'll get to that when we get to that, but there was definitely some cool twists, some unexpected stuff, some pops here and there, a lot of feel-good moments. You know, when you go into WrestleMania and literally every single champion is a heel, there's going to be some happy payoffs, but we'll get to that. I'm going to cover each match how we typically do. We're gonna go through the pre-show, but just keep in mind during the pre-show, I was like picking up people, like, cause I was having a group over for WrestleMania. I was driving, while I watched it on YouTube. For instance, the 205 live match. Well, before we get into it, let's without further ado, get started. The 205 live match of Buddy Murphy versus Tony Nese. Easily, I barely looked at this match. I didn't know any of the build-up for this match at all because I don't watch 205 Live. Easily probably the best wrestling match. Like, wrestling without, you know, the story. But I don't know the story, so it could have been the best match for all I know. But Tony Nese got the W. I know Buddy Murphy's had that thing for a minute, and he doesn't have a whole lot of competition. So, from what I've been told, this was a good choice. I don't know. It looked like a cool-ass match. Whenever they do those reverse Hurricane Ranas, where they fucking drill their heads into the mat, I love those spots. A lot of crazy-ass spots, as they typically do. 205 Live deserves my attention, probably more than, like, SmackDown or whatever else the shit I'm watching does. But I'm a filthy fucking degenerate, so yeah. The Women's Battle Royal, I did not watch at all. I literally, like, I couldn't keep watching it, so it was what it was. I missed it. I got home, I was like, oh, shit, it looks like I missed that match. So I guess I'll just talk about the booking decision. Sarah Logan apparently got pushed pretty hard. I think that's a cool choice. I'm a very big Riot Squad person. Sarah Logan, I think, definitely deserves a push. All three of them, I really want to get pushed. Asuka got buried, not buried, but you know she didn't live up to her namesake. You know, a lot of booking decisions were kind of fully revealed. All of Kurt Angle's his current run finally came to an end, so we can finally reflect on, yeah, when he returned to WWE this time, fucking sucked. Asuka, the past year, ever since WrestleMania, the last WrestleMania, fuck it, since she won the Royal Rumble, she was booked badly. I will say that. Badly booked. We can finally say that. A whole year of badly booked decision making for Asuka. Confirmed. Carmella won. Didn't need it. Whatever she's like, Naomi winning last year was kind of just like, oh yeah, sure, keep Naomi, like, keep her a strong figure. You know, she can always say she won that. You know, inaugural thing. You wanted to give it to an established wrestler. This year, there was plenty of women you could have given the push to. I know Lacey Evans. I'm not a big fan of her, but you could have given it to her. Could have given it to Sarah Logan because she was killing it. Could have kept Asuka. Give her some momentum. Give her something to do for Mania. Fuck it. You could have given it to a lot of people. There was a lot of give it to someone on NXT. But no, Carmella. It's whatever. I mean, Carmella, you know, she's not going to get another title push or any kind of push like that. Just keep her as like this side. She's a mid-carder. Like, just keep her away from this type of shit. And she does fine with what she's doing right now. Whatever. Then the men's battle royal. Again, there was a lot of potential candidates. I should say my booking, my predictions. I predicted that Tony Nese would win. I predicted that Asuka would win. I was obviously wrong. And for shits and giggles, I'll give my girlfriend's predictions. She guessed Buddy Murphy, and she also guessed Sonya Deville. She really likes Sonya Deville, which would also have been a really cool choice. Uh, for the Battle Royal, I predict Kevin Owens, who did not even fucking appear. There was no KO Mania 3 or 4, whichever one he's at. Just didn't get it this year. I mean, why return if you're not? It's whatever. I know that the whole Kofi thing, he probably would have been in the title picture a lot more if the whole Kofi thing didn't happen. I will gladly take the Kofi thing if it means even if it means getting Kevin off the show. Just one of those, you can't make every booking decision work. You got to exclude some people. It is what it is. Just sad to see Kevin not even appear on the show. But Braun, like, he got it. He definitely deserves it. He kind of needed it. But at the same time, he got it via defeating some celebrity guests. And the celebrity guest thing, how they ran away, the fucking Odell Beckham Jr. jersey thing was hilarious. But I forget their names because I don't give a shit about them. But the Hardy Boys and him were last. They were trying to double team him, but he got them both out. And then they try to come back in, swerve. He decks one of them out. Again, like, they could have ate like a running power slam. Celebrity guests who are even weaker and even less, like random celebrity Monday Night Raw guests have taken more punishment. Fucking, if you can put Machine Gun Kelly through a fucking table, I think one of these guys could have ate a running power slam after weeks of build-up. But no, just tosses them into a crowd full of guys after, I don't know how long they must have been standing there, just waiting to catch this motherfucker, but that's what happened. Braun, I'm not upset that he won. It was just kind of a boring-ass match, in all honesty. There was not a whole lot of pops. There wasn't any. The only, like, cool stare-down thing we got was between Luke Harper and Braun. That's never gonna fucking happen or go anywhere. I know they're ex-Wyatt member guys, but still, not really that cool. Following up from there, I'm going to be bouncing around the card all over the place because I'm just going by my prediction list here. But I know the match, the night started off with Alexa Bliss and Hulk Hogan. The waste of an opening slot. Didn't care at all for it. We've seen Hogan do that fucking shtick before. It's whatever. It's whatever. And Alexa Bliss being the host, useless, in my opinion, but whatever. We started off with Paul Heyman coming down to the ring, and immediately knew it was on. And I thought he was going to pull some shenanigans where they're going to try to stall throughout the night, like Brock isn't going to compete if he's not on last. And I thought that was going to be like a story throughout the night. But no, it was just an excuse to get the show on the road. We get Brock coming out. Again, I'm going to complain about this throughout the night. There is no fucking flair or flash or the usual cool WrestleMania shit this year. There's a couple cool entrances, but this was a very, like, I've seen regular ass pay-per-views that had more finesse than this WrestleMania. There's a couple of fireworks, but compared to like back in the day when it was just fireworks for every fucking entrance and all this other stuff, nothing. Like, very little energizing shit that really gets you started. And a lot of the costumes, a lot of I expected Kofi and New Day to have, like, all this cool shit. Nothing really happened there. Okay, anyway, Brock versus Seth. Brock comes out, he's just wearing his fucking gear. Nothing cool for the entrance. And Seth comes out, has like an okay, if below average entrance. The Beast Slayer gimmick I like, but then Brock just beats him up on the outside of the ring, and I really thought this could have gone either way. I did book Seth to win because I really did believe he was gonna win. But like when Brock, all of my doubt crept in when Brock started beating him up on the outside of the ring because I was like, okay, I feel like Seth is gonna get the upper hand and then they're just gonna snuff it out. And it turns out we didn't even make it that far into the match for that to happen, because Brock destroys this man on the outside of the ring. His back is all fucked up. Uh, Eats an F5 on the outside of the ring. All of that doubt is just flaring inside. But they go into the ring. The match finally starts. Seth, eventually, after getting tossed around for a little while, pushes Brock into the ref. The ref's down. He hits Brock in his ultimate weak spot, apparently, which is the low blow below the belt. Which shades of Monday. Like, I kind of like that they were able to kind of tell a little bit of a story there, even if they done this fucking story and the whole below the belt thing 100 million times, especially lately. I'm surprised AJ Styles wasn't there, but just curb stomp after curb stomp, curb stomp. 1, 2, 3 gets the W. The expression on Paul Heyman's face is priceless. You have this big celebration to start off the night. It definitely feels well earned. And, it kind of makes up for the fact that, like, there wasn't a whole lot of build up to this match. Now that we kind of, like, okay, they were just doing this cool opening bit. And I thought that they put it at the opening. Like, that's why that doubt crept in for me, because I was like, oh, if Brock just wins, they're going to do it at the opening just so they can get it out the way, But no, finally the belt changes hands. Brock is no longer the fucking champion. We finally arrived at this moment, and we all kind of, like, it still doesn't feel like Lesnar was, like, dethroned. I think we were all waiting for that moment when someone bigger, stronger just finally destroyed him. Like, Goldberg, it felt like that, but then it was like, okay, Brock got his win back, and now he's back on track, and he's never been top since then. They could have done it with Roman, but they chose not to for whatever reason at last year's Mania. And so Seth getting this kind of shady win, like it definitely still feels like that moment, but it doesn't feel like he conquered him, which he could have. Though he had that argument with the whole Daniel Finn almost beating him thing. It's whatever. It's a war of nutrition basically, and Seth easily could have made that argument, but they didn't go with that. He just got this surprise pop win. Still felt amazing, just slinging the belt around. Felt awesome. Definitely well-earned victory. Well-earned moment, I should say. Anyway, the match following that, where did I put all my fucking predictions? There they are. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about on the pre-show, Hawkins and Ryder beat the Revival. Cool. I like it. It was kind of well-earned moments. If the Revival are really leaving, like the Revival is as on WWE is a failed project. Again, I don't watch NXT, so I don't have like this fond. Like I'm not gonna pretend. I hate when people just like they like people because the internet tells them to like them and shit like that. I don't know these guys from NXT. Their WWE personas obviously aren't that great. Them being hailed as one of the best tag teams, obviously did not translate to WWE. And if they're leaving, then fine, let them lose to Hawkins and Ryder. It was our feel good moment. It still was good, even if it's at the expense of the Revival. At this point, I don't fucking care. They're gonna leave anyway. The match following the opener was AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. This was very much a SmackDown match. I feel like I've seen better SmackDown main events than this match. It's WrestleMania. I don't know why I feel like AJ is gonna be, if he plays his cards right, hailed as one of the best wrestlers of this decade of ever, whatever you want to say. And I feel like if you're going by WrestleManias, not so much, because he lost to Jericho, beat Shane McMahon. That was a cool match, but it was opening. It didn't feel like, You don't get that perspective by these WrestleManias. And then has a boring ass match with Shinsuke, and now has a below average match with Randy. He got the W. That is what I wanted. That was my prediction. Just a very half-baked feud. Not all that special. Anyway, where do I want to go from here? After that, let's just skip to the Usos versus the Bar, Nakamura and Rusev, and Ricochet and Aleister Black. Cool to see Ricochet and Aleister Black make their WrestleMania debut. The Usos got the win. You know, this was actually a very entertaining match, despite, you know, it was a little bit chaotic. But, you know, it was an excuse just to have a lot of, it was like a spot fest, basically. And a lot of good moments. Usos finally got a WrestleMania win. That wasn't on the pre-show, so that was really cool. Finally got to see that. Ricochet and Aleister Black, like, I feel like they're already kind of planning something for them. So, them not getting the W doesn't upset me. I don't want the other two teams to go anywhere near the belt, so I thought that was a solid decision. Plus, somebody has to keep their title, considering almost everybody lost theirs on this match. Let's just go while we're talking about Fatal 4-Way Tag Team matches, which, by the way, is just stupid. Like, some of these people could have been put in the Battle Royal just for the sake of keeping this card a little bit died down. Sasha and Bayley versus Samoan Slaughterhouse, which is Nia and Tamina. Then you got the Iconics and Italian Best Phoenix, which is a surprise. They had a cool entrance. I love their gear. This was a little less overwhelming match. It was underwhelming. I can't talk today. I forgot to put on my glasses after I did that take. So, Sasha and Bayley. I'm actually kind of upset by the booking decision. I don't know why people like the Iconics now all of a sudden. I kind of hate the Iconics. They're one of my least favorite people on all of WWE. I don't get it. I don't find them funny. I don't get it. I have yet to like a single promo that they've done. I've yet to enjoy a single match that they've been in. I get that they're supposed to be annoying. I get that they're chicken shit heels. I get all that. I just don't see the like entertainment value of them. There's like glimmers though. Like in the Elimination Chamber and here, there was glimmers, and I just think Sasha and Bayley should have been a more established like tag team. I felt like the year plus that we tried to establish them as a tag team, that should have warranted a more lengthy title reign. I just feel like they would have done some more shit on NXT, and it just wasn't like I wasn't ready for them to leave it. Like I'm not unhappy that the Iconics won it. It's just I kind of wanted Sasha and Bayley to do more with it, and I don't want these fucking reviews just to be my how I think it should have been booked. The Iconics, uh, I like the way that they won after the like off the top rope glam slam. That was really cool, and then they just swerve in. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Throughout the match, though, we had the double Samoan drop. That was cool. I I think it's hysterical that with all these women in the ring, that Bayley still eats the pin where she fell from like 2 years ago when she was women's champ, winning that huge match. Oh, how the tide has turned. But this was a whatever match to me. Again, I'm bouncing around the card, but after that, we got Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Very predictable ass match. Roman Reigns won. Again, this kind of felt like just a main event match. They could have done something with this match. Just burnt out, like where it was placed on the card. I think this should have followed Rusev, or not Rusev, Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. Because the crowd was burnt out by this point. Everyone knew who was going to win. Roman, you know, at least they let Drew get a couple minutes. But again, there were some matches that I felt could have been cut. Like the Samoa Joe thing being a squash match was almost like a relief. which it shouldn't have been, but it was. But it is what it is. You can't fit everybody at the same time. The show's too fucking long. It's a vicious circle. Roman won. Drew could have won and been a formidable heel for Seth to fight, but I feel like Roman's going to get in the title picture. But for right now, I'm happy where he's at. I'm going to be regretting those words in a couple weeks here, I'm sure. Let's just skip to the Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio match. I don't know if the rumor about Rey being injured is true. I kind of feel like they put out those rumors just to make booking decisions better. Like, I felt like a lot of people were like, "Oh, I guess he was injured, so that's why it was a squash match." But at the same time, maybe they put that out there just so you would think that, you know. Um, Samoa Joe though definitely needs to look like a more vicious heel, and I think him getting this very necessary win was kind of a good idea. Ray basically, it's very obvious when guys like him come back, which of them are gonna go for the another run, like title picture run, and which of them are just kind of like there to put over younger guys. It's so far Jeff, Ray, all these guys are just coming back to put over younger guys. I know Samoa Joe's not super young, but he's a new guy. He definitely needs a victory more than Ray does. So, is what it was. Wasn't super unhappy about it. I'm kind of happy with that one. Shane O'Mac versus The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match. This match was ridiculous, but I goddamn loved it. There was actually a lot of story going into this match. Not just the fact that, like, with Miz's dad and everything, but carrying from, like, Daniel Bryan and, like, how Miz, like, is starting to become like a Daniel Bryan where he's taking these high risks, and that cost him the tag match, and then Shane betrayed him, and now him and Shane are having this huge feud. Miz's dad gets in there for a little bit for this hysterical moment. Miz is like, "Somebody get help," and then nobody comes. He's like, "Okay, whatever." Uh, this could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse of a match. Again, there's no Shane jumping off his shit because he's a heel now, but they do go to the top of this weird thing. They get it's entertaining. Like I thought it was gonna be kind of a dumbass match, but they pulled off a good match. I'm proud of them. A year ago, if you told me Miz and Shane were gonna have this big, fun, stupid match, I wouldn't have believed you. But here we are, a year later, where Miz's face. It was actually pretty unique. It was actually pretty fun. I don't really. I think it was one of those matches because some people are complaining about the results. It's one of those matches to me where it didn't matter who won. You could make a storyline there for like Miz kind of let his emotions get the best of him, whereas Shane was just being a fucking asshole heel. Like Shane as a heel, you can actually do things with him now, and Miz as a babyface, you can do things with him now. You can't really make him go for the WWE Championship now because the champion is a face. But oh well. If Shane goes for the belt, I will fucking riot. Next up, we got Triple H versus Batista. Yeah, let's go to that one. Triple H versus Batista, and Batista was rusty. Not throughout the match. He actually did pretty good throughout the match, but the way he came out of the car, like his animosity or whatever he had, he just moved awkwardly. Just like little things like when you're not a full-time wrestler, you don't like look at the right cameras, or you don't act you're not as like you don't flow as naturally. You don't do all the spots correctly. And when he tripped and fell in the fucking ring, that was the biggest cringe of my entire life. I'm dropping my phone. I'm so upset about it. It was so bad. It was so bad. I couldn't stop cringing, but we got past that. Triple H had another stupid ass big entrance. This time he showed up Mad Max style. Of course he did. But even his fucking entrance was toned down compared to usual years. But they had this big brawl of a match, no holds barred. They did a lot of weird shit. Triple H had a toolbox. He plucked out his nose ring. I'm not against that. I like at least one of these types of matches every WrestleMania. It would have been cool if they bled maybe a little bit more. You know, make it a first blood match in PG era. But no, there's some cool spots. I kind of knew Triple H was gonna win because he has to fill out these Saudi Arabia shows. God damn it! So it was kind of like Batista's farewell match, and he did fully commit to retiring on social media later. I expected it. It was sad. I kind of wish he had a better match, and you know, because they glossed over this thing the second it ended. Um, I kind of felt like they could have done a better match, but you know, with Triple H finally defeated him. I kind of wish like it was like one of those things where he never beat Batista, but it is what it is. He got the help from Ric Flair, sledgehammer, the way he like jumped off the thing, pedigree. That was a cool finish. I like the finish. Batista was small though. He lost some of his muscle man. It was kind of like one of those, yeah, maybe you should have retired by now type of matches. Uh, and before we get into the other retirement match, let's talk about Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley. Sorry if I'm speeding through these a little bit, but I gotta. There's so many fucking matches, you know. Demon Finn Balor, and the second you knew Demon Finn was coming, you knew he was winning that fucking belt. By now, a lot of these matches are kind of being rushed a little bit. Um, like a lot of like AJ and Randy, that match was way too fucking long, and Roman and Drew, these matches should have been cut, and they should have had more time for like these matches. Finn, you know, doing the demon thing, never a bad thing. It's always kind of like a squash match though. At least lately in WWE, the only real match he had was with Seth. Bobby does get some offense in there. Um, that being said, though, cool to see the demon at WrestleMania. It's cool. And he got the IC belt. I think he should have just kept the belt, and we didn't need to, or Bobby should have just kept it, and Finn shouldn't have had it. Like we too much of the belt getting tossed around. I don't like that. That being said, though, I like this match. It was a decent, like you know, little in between match. It was nice, feel good moment. Finn with the belt, looking like $1,000,000. Finally, after like a year later, after the last time he went for the belt, he got the match, he got the belt. Finally has one cool WrestleMania moment. Awesome. Um, I think the only other thing besides the main event and obviously the WWE title match, which is the real main event, but only other match is the retirement match of Kurt Angle where he fought Baron Corbin, and we're going to talk about the John Cena thing. But John Cena did not show up for the match. We kind of expected that. It was a little bit saddening. But yeah, uh, it was just kind of a bummer. I'm sorry about, like, I'm not trying to disrespect Baron Corbin. He should not have been in the match, and if he was in the match, it should have been a squash match. He should not have won. I'm not against Kurt losing in his final match, but this killed this just killed the crowd. This was probably the worst retirement match I think I've ever seen. Even after when Kurt left, like that felt just wrong. It was one of those matches that feels wrong. Kurt's entire fucking run, his farewell tour at the end, all these booking decisions are just wrong. I don't know who he pissed off. I don't know if Vince doesn't like him. I don't know what happened. Just done terribly. He just lost so much, and he never looked strong since he came back. It was just kind of sad. And now he lost clean to Baron Corbin at WrestleMania in a quick match. Didn't even linger on his retired, like didn't even get like a good promo in the end there. I hope on Raw tonight he gets something. It was just sad, man. Um no offense to Baron, I think he has his place in WWE as like I said this before, he'd make like a good henchman. I think he's one of those guys that is getting like too much spotlight for what I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's that good of a wrestler. I don't think he's good on the mic, period. Good henchman, good like one of those guys. Good tag team guy maybe. Not the guy to retire Kurt Angle. Just my opinion. Anyway, the John Cena thing. We get a big performance by Elias, and who interrupts it? Your boy John Cena in his Thugonomics gimmick. Uh, I don't really have nostalgia for this because when I started watching wrestling in 2006, he was already well into his usual John Cena thing. This match, though, or I'm sorry, this promo was actually pretty good. He has the whole rap thing. He hits him with the FU. That was probably my favorite part of the whole thing where he said, I'm not going to give you the AA, but I'm going to give you the FU. You know, I love Cena the past couple years. I think, again, he's great as a part-timer type guy. Just doing stuff like this, I'm happy to see him. Elias, you know, it makes him look good, and like this is stuff Elias is really kind of built for, so I can't really be upset that he doesn't have a match or anything like that. It was what it was. Pretty good. I'm not gonna complain. This was the only like real promo in the entire night, or real intermission, because the opening I don't count, and there wasn't really many backstage interviews or anything, so this was really it. Was a good one at least. Anyway, let's talk about my favorite part of the entire night, the WWE Championship match between Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan. I was so hyped for this fucking match, you don't even know. Kofi Kingston during the Elimination Chamber was probably the most hyped I've been during a wrestling match in probably a couple years. I really thought he was gonna get it then. He didn't. They saved it for Mania. They built up to it. I'm happy with what they did. A part of me really feels like he should have got it at Elimination Chamber. A part of me was like, oh no, they should save it for a WrestleMania moment. That way it kind of goes down in history a little bit more. But at the same time, I feel like if he defended it, it kind of would have been just as good. That being said, though, I am going to say I'm glad that he won it at Mania. I think he's the first fully black WWE champion. Not World Heavyweight, but WWE. Because I know The Rock is half black, half Samoan, so fully black. I think he's the first one, and I think that's awesome. They're probably not going to talk about that because they should have had a black champion by now. But WWE champion, like your boy Kofi Kingston, his name is like alongside all these guys. It's crazy. I still kind of don't believe that it happened, but the New Day celebration at the end felt pretty good. I don't really like that they had the T-shirt thing, but him having his own big ass title belt instead of the Daniel Bryan one, I like that. It was beautiful, big moment. Eric Rowan kind of interfering in the New Day, evening out the odds. I don't think they did anything spectacular. I don't think it was a fantastic match. It just kind of covered the bases it needed to. But damn it, it covered the bases it needed to, and I'm happy. Can't complain. So, Kofi Kingston, WWE Champion, awesome. 11 years. It was one of those things that you didn't think would ever happen. He's just one of those guys. Probably be in the Hall of Fame with the New Day. But now he might be in the Hall of Fame just as motherfucking Kofi Kingston. Happy. Anyway, only other thing is the main event. And I will say again, this is probably one of the most hype matches I've been into for a while. I think these three women had a lot of build-up and a lot of energy, a lot of character development. Becky Lynch, her rise from last year to this year was probably one of the best growths I've ever seen. Again, my girlfriend, huge Becky Lynch fan. My prediction was Becky. I forgot about saying all my predictions, so I'm just going to run them down the list. I predicted Kofi. I predicted Triple H. I predicted the Revival. That didn't happen. I predicted the Usos. I predicted Miz. I predicted Sasha and Bayley, Roman, Samoa Joe, Finn, and that's all of the other ones. But this match, again, the entrances I thought could have been a little bit cooler. I liked the live entrance for Ronda Rousey. That actually was pretty dope. Becky's entrance and attire and all that, I felt could have been more. It could have been more razzle dazzle. It's what WrestleMania is for. I don't know why there wasn't more of that shit, but is what it is. I kind of expected like a slugfest and a spot fest. I was very interested to see what kind of match they did here. Actually, a pretty good match. Not really what it did. I don't think it fully lived up to what I wanted it to, and I kind of feel like I don't know if it got cut short. Could have been a little bit longer, and the finish kind of completely deflated the match. Like the match was good. There was a lot of good spots. The table thing could have been a little bit. She could have gone through the goddamn table, and I don't know what's with Charlotte and tables. Has no luck with them, but some good spots. I don't think there was a lot of other character moments. There was a lot of false. Like Becky and Charlotte worked together for a little bit. I kind of felt like they should have lingered on that, like them becoming a team, because they're kind of like they go more back than they do with Ronda. So I kind of felt like there should have been more there. More storytelling is really what I wanted here. A couple more spots and the finish. I don't know why. If we're gonna have Becky win, just have her fucking win. Why are we protecting either Ronda or Charlotte? I don't know if Ronda's staying around, but even if she is, she does not need to. She can take one loss. Like, again, if Becky and Charlotte just beat her fucking ass and then Becky just blindsided Charlotte, I think that would have been an excellent story. If they if they did the same thing and then she just took out Charlotte, does something similar to what they did at SummerSlam, only that finish was also bad. I don't know why. I don't know why they have these fucking finishes with Becky, but it completely deflated me. Like, I tried to get hyped up for the big finish with her running around the ring with the two belts, but it just didn't feel as good as it should have, you know? This was something I was waiting for the longest time, and, it's one of the most over people in the company right now, one of my favorite people on the roster. Even back when she wasn't, a top person, she was like in my top 5 women. I don't know what happened here. I don't know why we had this false finish bullshit thing. Again, it's one of those things where it's going to lead into another story, but at the same time, I feel like it's going to lead to something stupid, so not a big fan with that decision. But that was WrestleMania 35. Probably give it like an 8 out of 10. There was a lot of feel-good moments. I don't like to linger on the bullshit. Certain things like the Iconics winning, I'm not super upset with, but like that's one of those things that booking down the line will make me feel better. But Kofi winning is enough to make it a good show by itself. Seth winning, another good decision. Triple H and Batista was an interesting match. Shane and Miz was really cool. Usos, I'm happy with. I'm okay with the Samoa Joe thing. A lot of really good shit. A lot of storylines, like with Daniel becoming a heel finally, like a couple of years later. Like if you're watching WrestleMania 30 and then to 35, you're like, how did this happen? The pre-show was all right. Sasha and Bayley, could have kept the belts. The Roman Drew match could have been trimmed. Certain things could have been done better. But they pulled off another WrestleMania. This one's in the books. I thought it was a good show. Considering where WWE is at lately, it hasn't, like, been a like, I can't watch 3-hour Raws anymore. It's not good enough to warrant that for me personally, but it is like something worth watching the highlights of and keeping in touch with. Certain storylines are shitty, but like it has the potential to get better, like it always does. The same reason I always keep watching this bullshit, and the same reason I'm on this fucking channel talking about it, because I fucking love wrestling. I love WrestleMania. Even if it's got bullshit ass finishes like this, I fucking love it. So that's my thoughts on WrestleMania 35. I will see you in the next video in however many weeks or months that will be. Thank you for watching, and until next time, with that, I leave you. Blah.